Students, in these sessions, like next 5 lectures, whatever we are going to learn, those all topics are very important for your entrance examination, whether it can be JEE or whether it can be NEET. Try to understand the concept, try to induce the subject into your brain so that it will be helpful in scoring in entrance examinations. And this total, like whatever we are deriving hereafter, like 4 to 5 lectures, whatever we are deriving, these all things are part of your entrance examination. But for board examination, only few, like for circular, ring and sphere, board examination only 2 or 3 topics will be there. But mostly here, whatever we are learning, this is for entrance examination. Keeping entrance examination in mind, I'm deriving these all equations for electric field due to continuous charge distribution. As a part of that, in today's session, we will be learning how to find electric field due to uniformly charged materials, and that comes under electric field due to continuous charge distribution. Under this heading, these all whatever we are going to derive here onwards, that comes under this particular heading, electric field due to continuous charge distribution. In previous lectures, we have learned electric field due to point charges, only one particular point. So because of that point, we have calculated electric field, and basic formula for that is electric field will be equal to K Q divided by R square. This is the basic equation to calculate electric field due to point charges. If this capital Q charge is a point charge, but whatever we are going to deal here onwards, they all are continuous charge distribution. Now, if at all they are continuous charge distribution, already we have learned in very in the beginning sessions, we have learned for continuous charge distribution, it can be 3 different ways where charge can accommodate on conductors. They are linear charge distribution. Linear charge distribution is denoted with lambda, which is equal to capital Q divided by L. Similarly, surface charge distribution, which is for area. Surface charge distribution, it is a sigma, which is Q divided by A. And volume charge distribution, it is rho, which is Q divided by V. So whenever we are dealing with extended charges, and you need to check which type of extension it is, whether it is charge distributed along the length, or charge distributed along surface, or charge distributed along volume. So any material, whether like it can be rod or it can be ring or any material it can be, definitely it comes under any one of these. Any one of these, either it can be linear distribution or surface distribution or volume distribution. Definitely it comes under any of these 3 parts. So first we will be choosing that that particular material comes under which category, either line distribution or surface distribution or volume distribution, and then we will use the procedure of integration and differentiation, and we will arrive equation for electric field due to that particular material. Okay, now as a part of that, we are now learning about electric field on the axial line. Remember that it is on the axial line due to uniformly charged rod. This is a rod. Because of this uniformly charged rod, you are now supposed to find out electric field at point P at this particular point you are supposed to find out electric field. This is axial line. Axial line is that line which pass horizontally through that particular rod. Now I want to find out electric field at this point. Now this is not point charge, right? Rod is not point charge, it is extended charge. For extended charges, Coulomb's law you cannot use directly. As electric field is derived from Coulomb's law, we cannot use electric field equation also directly in case of extended charges. Now, in order to find out electric field due to this total rod, what I mean to do is, I will be considering very small element of this particular rod. So this rod, total charge distributed on this rod is plus Q. Let me consider the total rod has charge distributed, which is Q. Capital Q is the charge distributed on this rod, and this charge is distributed along the line. Therefore, rod comes under linear charge distribution, right? So rod comes under linear charge distribution, and linear charge distribution is denoted with lambda, linear charge density lambda, which is equal to total charge which is residing on the rod, that is capital Q, divided by total length of this rod, it is capital L. Okay. Now, in order to find out electric field, you need to select very small element of this particular rod. You need to select one small element from this rod. I am considering that element here. Understand carefully the concept. I am choosing very small element in this particular rod, right? Whole rod is continuous charge distribution, but this very small element, this is very small element treated as point charge. This is very small element, and this very small element is treated as point charge. For point charges, you can use electric field equation. So this point charge, whichever I am considering this as very small element, total charge residing will be Q. This very small element has particular, this very small element which we are considering, it has charge dq. Okay, this is very small element, this very small element has charge dq, and this very small length, let me consider it as dx. Very small element, I am considering it as x. Now for infinitely small element, for this very small element, you can write linear charge density as total charge on the element, that is dq, sorry, d capital Q. Total charge on this element is d capital Q, divided by total length of this element, you can write it as dx. Yes. Now from here I can write dq, whose charge, this charge on this particular element dq is equal to capital Q by L into dx. Let me take this as equation number 1. Okay. Now take this very small element. I am choosing this very small element here, and upon this element, what is the charge? Charge is dq. Charge is dq on this element. From this element, you want to find out electric field at this position. So in order to find out electric field, as this is very small element, field produced due to this very small element will also be infinitely small, that is dE. Now how I can write dE? I can write dE as field due to this very small element, that can be written as K, and what is the charge on this element? It is dQ divided by separation from this position to this position. I want to now find out the separation from here to here. This separation, where I am considering this separation, I am treating it as x. Don't take this as x. You take this as x. This is very small distance from point charge to the point where you are calculating the electric field. That distance I am considering it as x. That x I'll substitute here. It is x square. Okay. So what I am doing here in this is, you are taking very large continuous distribution and you are cutting into small portion. That portion charge is dq and its length is dx. Now as this becomes point charge, for point charges electric field equation is directly applied. So taking this point charge as the reference, I am finding electric field at this position. That value, it is dE, it is k dq by x square. But you have already dq value. Substitute that here. K into capital Q divided by L into dx divided by x square. Right? Take this as equation number 2. Okay. Now, because of this very small element, there is a field dE. Now, I want to find out total field due to this rod for the total rod. So for that, what I do, I'll take this rod and I will cut it into very small portions like this. I'll take one small element here. I'll take very small element here. I'll take one more element here. I'll take one more element here, one more element here, one more element here. I'll divide this total rod into infinitely small elements like this. Okay. Out of which you are selecting only one element and you are finding dE. Now, if I take this element, this first element, because of this very small element, there is some field at this position, that is, I consider it as dE1. Okay. Now, because of this second element, which is present here, because of that field will be in the same direction. Because of that field will be dE2. Right. First element is at some particular distance. Right. First element, it is at some particular distance. So this particular distance I can take it as L. Okay. Now second element, it is slightly increasing. L value, it is increasing. Third element, L value increasing. Fourth element increasing. Fifth element increasing. Like that. If you go to this last element, coming to this last element, it is at a distance. From here to here, it is small l plus capital L. Right. Therefore, if you take first element, its length is L. If you take last element, the separation for that element will be small l plus capital L. Okay. Now I am taking this dx, which is very small element's length, and this is taken as x, right? What is happening to this x value? It is variable. If you are taking first element, x is equal to L. If you are taking last element, what is the x value? X value tend to become small l plus capital L. Therefore, in equation 2, x is variable within limits. What are the limits for this x value? Within the limits, it is changing from L to small l plus capital L. These are the limits. Okay. Now, in order to find out the net field because of this total rod, what I do, I should add these all, dE1 plus dE2 plus dE3 plus dE4. Like that, each element electric field I should find out and you should add them. Addition is nothing but, summing up is nothing but integration. So what I do, in order to find out the field, I'll simply integrate that total. E is equal to integration dE. So that means this element's field, I will integrate between the limits. Where are the limits for this total? It is small l to small l plus capital L. This is the integration limits. Now taking this dE, dE is already in equation 2. Take that and substitute in this equation. Right? Constant terms, bring it out. K capital Q divided by L. These are constants. I am bringing it out. And leftover will be integration 1 by x square dx. Limits are from small l to capital L plus a small l. These are the limits. It is x power minus 2, x power minus 2 plus 1. So if you integrate this, you will be getting it as k capital Q divided by L into x square dx. X square 1 by x square dx is x power minus 2 plus 1. It is x power minus 1 divided by minus 1, right? And limits are from small l to L plus capital L. Now this gives you minus capital Q divided by L into 1 by x. Limits are from small l to L plus capital L, right? Now continuing the derivation over here, it will be minus k capital Q divided by L into upper limit, it is L plus capital L, minus lower limit, it is 1 divided by small l. This is equal to minus of k capital Q divided by L into L minus of L plus capital L. Of course, here it should be minus divided by L into L plus capital L. Taking LCM, this L and L gets cancelled. Negative and negative will become positive. So finally, electric field E is equal to K capital Q by L into L divided by L into L plus capital L. This L and L gets cancelled. Finally, you can write down electric field due to this rod as K capital Q divided by L into L plus capital L. This is the final expression for electric field due to the rod. Okay. So whenever you are finding electric field due to the rod, you should use the same equation where L is this small l is length of the first element from the point where you are calculating electric field. So this L, small l, don't forget that this is a small l, and capital L is length of the rod. However, only unknown quantity is this small l. That will be given in the problem. If you substitute that over here, so that you will be getting electric field, right? And if you are finding field right side to that of the rod, then you can take it as positive. If you are finding field left side, say for example, if you are finding field at this position, then field will be left side, right? Then instead of positive, you will be getting negative here. That gives you minus k capital Q by L into L plus L. So only the thing is, because of this total rod, field extended will be outward because we are considering it as positive. Right side, it will be right side. Left side of the rod, it will be extended left side. So previously we have calculated electric field due to rod. This is axial line. On the axial line, we have calculated the field. And we have got its value. E is equal to K capital Q divided by L into small l plus capital L. This is what we have obtained for electric field due to rod on the axial line. Now coming to the same rod, I want to find out electric field on the equatorial line. Equatorial is nothing but a line which cut the rod perpendicularly into two parts, two equal parts like this. This is called as equatorial line. Okay. On this equatorial line, now you have rod. This is a rod. This rod has total length L. This rod has total length L. And from the center, if you are drawing one perpendicular line, that become equatorial line. That become equatorial line. I want to now find out electric field due to this rod on the equatorial line. So on this equatorial line, which is along x-axis, I am considering one point P here. Point P I have considered there. That is point P. I want to find out electric field over there. Okay. So as we have learned in the previous example, in order to find out the electric field, as this is rod extended charge, We cannot directly use the formula. So what we will do, I'll cut that rod into very small pieces. Each part has charge dq, right? Going directly into the step, lambda is equal to capital Q by L, which is equal to d capital Q divided by this very small element. I am considering it as dy, because this rod is along y direction. I am taking this very small element's length as dy. Okay, this is dy. Now dq divided by dy. From here you can write d capital Q is equal to capital Q divided by L into dy. Take this as equation number 1. Now we have got very small element, and this element is separated by this point with some distance r. Okay. Now because of this very small element, I want to find out field at this point, and that field will be in which direction? It will be in the direction along the line joining between the rod, very small element, and the point. And it is positive charge, field will be extended outward. So field is extended outward in this direction, and this is along the line joining the element with this point. Along the straight line you need to take the direction. As it is positive, field is extended outward. Suppose if it is a negative charge, suppose if this rod has negative charge, E point at this point, field will be in which direction? In this direction, that will be dE. But we are considering it as positive, so don't take this dE. Because we are considering it as positive charge. Field will be extended outward. This is dE. Now our duty is to write that dE value. So what will be dE? Is equal to K capital Q. I'm sorry, not capital Q. It is because of very small element, charge over here will be, this is K into charge of this element is D capital Q divided by separation of this element from the point, that is R. Okay. Now how you can write this R? R can be written as under root this length. This length you can take it as y. It is y square plus length from here to here, it is b square. This is R. R is the separation from this point. Okay, this point is separated with charge dq by a distance r, that can be written as y square plus b square, where y is variable. Okay, that is what I am writing here as under root y square plus b square whole square, and this gets cancelled. It is K. dq value I can substitute here, capital Q divided by L into dy divided by y square plus b square, right? This is very small element, and because of that element I have got this value. But observe carefully, unlike in the previous problem, this has very small twist. What is that twist? Suppose if you are taking this element dq over here, you have got field in downward direction. This is the field. Okay, but if you are taking very small element in the other point, here if I take the element here, and this length is also y, at the same position where you are taking above the x-axis, at the same point I am taking below the x-axis. Now field, because of this very small element, it will be in which direction? Definitely it should be in this direction, right? Okay, that field will be in this direction. Now in the previous problem, as all the elements are extending field in the same direction, positive x-axis, I have added them. But now it is not like that. Because of this rod, each element is extending its field in different directions. Now if you take fields over these particular elements, you will be getting field in different directions. You cannot add them directly. Therefore what you need to do, you need to resolve these vectors into components, right? So I will resolve these vectors into components this way. dE, this angle is theta, dE can be resolved into component along x-axis, that is dE cos theta, and along y direction it is dE sin theta. Okay. Now, because of this dE, I'll extend this along x-axis, it has dE cos theta, and along y direction it will be dE sin theta. Right. Now, positive value dE sin theta, negative value minus dE sin theta, because it is downward it is minus dE sin theta, and upward it is dE sin theta. Okati positive, okati negative. What you will do? You will cancel these two. dE sin theta minus dE sin theta, both get cancelled. And what about only along x-axis? You have the fields extended, that will be dE cos theta, right? So all vertical components of field dE gets cancelled, only horizontal components. Only horizontal components are left over. Now these horizontal components all are in the same direction, so I should add them. If you add them, you will be getting net electric field E, which is integration dE into cos theta. Integration dE cos theta. So because of this upper part dE cos theta, down part dE cos theta, like that, all parts dE cos thetas will be added over there, so that you will be getting integration. So that integration limits, you can take it from bottommost point to the topmost point. So if you are taking very small element here, what will be y? Y will be minus L by 2. If you are taking element here, what will be this upper y? Y will be equal to plus L by 2. So bottom limit is minus L by 2, upper limit is plus L by 2. Just substitute that over here. It will be minus L by 2 to plus L by 2, right? And what you can write for cos theta? Cos theta will be equal to adjacent side. What is adjacent side? B divided by hypotenuse. It is y square plus b square whole power 1 by 2. Right? Any doubt in this concept? So taking those equations which we have obtained in the previous slide, dE we have got equation 1, cos theta we have got equation 2, and let this be equation number 3. Now what I mean to do is substitute equation 1 and 2 in equation 3. This gives you E is equal to integration dE. Constants I am bringing it out. K capital Q divided by L into integration minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. This part dy divided by y square plus b square into cos theta. It is b divided by y square plus b square whole power 1 by 2. B is also constant, you can bring it out. E is equal to K capital Q divided by L. B is also constant, I am bringing it out. Leftover will be integration minus L by 2 to plus L by 2, and this will be dy divided by y square plus b square whole power 3 by 2. Take this as equation number 4. Okay, so this is the integration which you need to evaluate. This integration part you need to derive. Integration, in order to derive it, what I do, this is the rod. Observe carefully. This is the rod. This part I am considering it as, this length I am considering it as y, and this is b. I can take this as theta. Okay, now here from this figure I can write tan theta is equal to opposite side y divided by adjacent side b. So what do you write for y? Y is equal to b tan theta. Okay. Now what is dy written as? Dy can be written as b into tan theta differentiation is secant square theta d theta. Okay. Now here this y should be replaced with b tan theta, dy should be replaced with b secant square theta d theta, limits of minus L by 2 to plus L by 2, that I will be representing it with limits are from minus theta by 2 to plus theta by 2. So if I consider this total angle, if I take this as, like, I'll be taking this as pi, then this will be minus pi by 2. Bottom part is minus pi by 2, upper part is plus pi by 2. Now take these all and substitute in this equation. So it will be E is equal to K capital Q B divided by L integration minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and dy I can write it as b secant square theta d theta divided by y square. Y square is b square tan square theta. B square you can take it out, and b square whole power 3 by 2 will be left over. Square gets cancelled. Finally it will be b cube. And here we have y square. It is tan square theta plus 1. Tan square theta plus 1. 1 plus tan square theta will be secant square theta. Secant square theta whole power 3 by 2. Square and 2 gets cancelled. Remained will be secant cube theta. Right? Now this secant square theta, secant cube theta gets cancelled, and this b out, b comes out over here. So E will be equal to K capital Q divided by L into b. B cube coming out, b coming out. So that gives you 1 by b. Integration limits are from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. And here in denominator there is a secant theta. 1 by secant theta is cos theta. Cos theta d theta. Now this is equal to K capital Q by L into B. Cos theta integration sin theta. And limits are from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Okay. This is K capital Q divided by L into B. It is upper limit sine of pi by 2 minus of sine of minus pi by 2. Sine of minus pi by 2 will become plus. This is equal to, because sine minus theta is minus sine theta. That minus comes over here, it will become plus. K capital Q divided by L into B into 2 times sine of pi by 2. Right? What is this pi by 2? Sine pi by 2 is this total length, right? This is pi by 2. So sine pi by 2 can be written as opposite side y divided by hypotenuse. So that gives you K capital Q divided by LB into 2 sine pi by 2. It is opposite side y divided by hypotenuse under root b square plus y square. Right? This is the final expression for electric field on the equatorial line.